Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Tuesday's Market Situation Report, or SITREP, here at Top Gun Options. My name is Edward Matthew Buckley. My call sign is Wiz, and if it's a day of the week that ends in Y, it's a Trump market. Earlier, the ECB, led by Mario Draghi, he's essentially their Fed chief, he's their Jerome Powell, signaled that they're probably going to be cutting interest rates across the pond. Donald Trump ain't too happy with that, unleashed a barrage of tweets against this and, saying that it in effect made Europe more competitive with America. I guess the president doesn't want Europe to be competitive against America, but we could debate that over a beer. I get what he's doing, but holy hypocrite, Batman. Donald Trump, for a year and a half or a year or so, has been pounding our Fed chief, Jerome Powell, to not only cut interest rates, but to engage in QE, quantitative easing. So when other folks do it, it's okay, but when our president demands it, it's bad. Unless we're on the other side of Mars for the past couple hours, you know what has happened. But let's go through what's been going on recently. So this was this morning at like 7:54. This tweet came out. Beijing slams Washington's latest feeble attempt to set up Trump-Xi meeting at the G20 summit next week. What else was going on? We will fight until the end. Beijing warns Washington will lose protracted trade war. Demand major concessions from Trump. Larry Kudlow, the market whisperer. We need to kick butt. We're getting hardcore with China. Wilbur Ross, the commerce secretary, said yesterday, do not expect a U.S.-China deal at the G20 meeting. And this morning, the Dow is currently up about 400 points because the president tweeted out that I had a great call with President Xi this morning. I'm going to meet with him at the G20. Our teams are going to meet before, and we're going to make it an extended meeting. Holy rip your face off rally, Batman. Dow's up 345 points right now. That's a good thing, right? Ladies and gentlemen, now what does the Federal Reserve do tomorrow? One of the things Jerome Powell said a week and a half ago or whenever it was, and so Fed Chief Bullard from St. Louis said, hey, we might need to cut rates soon. The next day, Jerome Powell, the commanding officer of the Federal Reserve, said what? We will act as appropriate to keep the expansion going because of, trade issues and, uncertainty, blah, blah, blah. Now what do you do tomorrow, Jerome? The Fed meeting started today, it ends tomorrow, and they have the press conference tomorrow afternoon. So if one of the main reasons that the dude is being forced by the market to cut rates is the uncertainty around this trade war, Donald Trump just said, great call with Xi. We're friends. We're good. We'll figure it out. What happens? Does the Fed go, oops? The Fed's not locked in a conference room, folks. They know what the president tweeted out. So what does the Fed do tomorrow? Why do they need to cut if we're going to have a great meeting? And remember, we got all the way up to the point where Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, said what? We'll have a deal by next Friday. I mean, we're just trying to figure out what dressing, we're going to have on the salads at Mar-a-Lago. And then that Sunday, the president walks away or says China walked away or reneged. And then we got into this massive craziness here. So very, 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 very interesting. The president certainly knows there's a Fed meeting tomorrow. So what does the Fed do? The Fed might come out tomorrow, guys, and let us down with a little bit of, things look a little bit better, meaning we're not going to cut rates in July. I briefed you a week ago, folks, that Goldman Sachs said, I don't know what you all are thinking, but we didn't hear the Fed saying they're going to be cutting rates. We don't think they're going to cut rates at all this year. So, man, what a difference a day makes. We placed an XLY bull put spread in our solo Amazon service yesterday. Great looking trade. What are we doing here? That trade's up about $675 in a day. So I have an iron condor on volatility. So obviously, let's take a look. This is what's been interesting. So the VIX, ladies and gentlemen, as I record this video, is flat. You know what it did earlier when the president tweeted out? Folks, look at this. Look at the volatility index today. Wiz, the Dow's up almost 400 points. Why isn't the VIX imploding? Don't call it the VIX, folks. Call it the uncertainty index. The uncertainty index is going to remain high. The president said he's getting a trade deal? No. The president said in his tweet what he's been saying for a year and a half. I remember a year and a half ago when the dude was walking out to a helicopter and he goes, just got off the phone with Xi, going to be great, huge trade deal, love it. Market rallied like it's doing right now. Market rallied like 400, 500 points. And then what happened? We've been in this shit show for a year and a half. So ladies and gentlemen, the VIX, I've been sitting here trading all morning. The VIX was up. It's been up about 1% or 2%, and now it's essentially down 7 cents. It's flat right now. The VIX is flat to up when the market's up. That tells you the market ain't believing this, okay? And now it is over to the Fed tomorrow. What are they going to do tomorrow? Right? Look at this. This Chinese media, let me move this one over. This was even funnier. This was today, too. This was about a couple hours ago. Chinese media suggest slim hope for Trump-Xi meeting, then delete the warning immediately. We are in a minute-by-minute, tweet-by-tweet market here, and it is absolutely crazy. So I'm going to tell you right now, I don't want to sound like Eeyore and Winnie the Pooh, but as a fighter pilot, as an options trader, you're told to look at the worst case scenario all the time. So when it doesn't happen, you're pleasantly surprised. If you think this is all sunshine and lollipops, you're going to get blown out of the sky more often than not. So good pop out of this. So what does the Fed do tomorrow? The Fed is literally painted into a corner. I was reading some good articles from Goldman. Here's why the Fed is about to shock the market. There's a lot of math in here. This is a great article. We'll cover it at 1 o'clock in our member brief. So Goldman said the Fed's going to shock the market by not giving the market what it wants. Now with the president saying, hey, things are good. I am going to meet with Xi and extended meeting, and our teams are actually going to talk beforehand. So the teams talking beforehand, could they maybe pick up the deal where we left off and say, hey, we're back? Man, this changed everything, obviously. So I don't know what the Fed's going to do tomorrow. I know they're not cutting interest rates tomorrow. Before the president tweeted, there was a 20% probability with the Fed funds futures rate of a cut tomorrow. I didn't look before I jumped on. I guarantee that's a lot less. And I guarantee you July's just went down too. So this is getting very, very interesting, folks, here with what the Fed is going to do tomorrow. So the 5 things to watch in the pivotal Fed meeting, essentially now you could rewrite this report here and say it depends on what the Fed thinks about this trade issue. I got to remind you, one of the main reasons this guy said will act as appropriate to keep the expansion going was because of this uncertainty around trade. Well, this dude sounds like he's getting a little bit more certain about trade or wants to get a deal. We covered this ad nauseum yesterday in our weekly options and solo Amazon brief. I think the president is crazy like a fox. I think he's threading the needle perfectly and now the VIX is actually up. He's threading the needle perfectly where he'll before the election, Donald J. Trump will sign a trade deal with China. It'll be a massive pop to the market. Well, even the liberal media can't ignore that the dude leveled the playing field. We've been getting screwed for nearly half a century with trade with China. This president put America first. God forbid a president puts his own country first. I'm thrilled. So he's got the China trade deal that I guarantee you he gets before the election, and he also has a Fed sitting there painted themselves literally into a corner going, crap. The only way out of this is to cut rates. Otherwise, the market is going to go into its October 3rd temper tantrum. Everybody, I can remember where I was on, October 3rd when Jerome Powell said, economy's on fire, man. Everything's great. We're going to crank the hell up out of interest rates. And son of a implosion. Look at that, man. 20% bear market. The Fed put us into, we were in a trade war. Iran really wasn't that super on the headlines right now. I haven't even covered Iran, but look at that implosion with the Fed saying they're going to raise interest rates. If the Fed doesn't act from the corner they're painted into, you will get a tantrum, and it will not be pretty. But yeah, good looking one-day trade on XLY, up $600 in a day. This trade, let's go ahead and analyze it. This trade potentially is going to make $2,000 by next Friday. Really good looking trade. We trade, even though the service is called solo Amazon, guess what? Amazon makes up 25% of that ETF. So if you can, it sucks, man. Look at this. Yesterday, I tried to get on a new synthetic stock position with Amazon. Look at that. I tried to walk it on up all day to get filled. Didn't get filled. Doing the math on this trade today, this trade alone is up, $2,700 in a day. There you go, folks. This service is $97 a month, $8.97 for a year, 25% discount. And with one contract in Amazon, I essentially paid for several years of access into this service. So get in here, folks. It's only, like I said, $97 a month, $8.97 a year. So between the Amazon trade and the XL, I did get filled, obviously, on the XLY bull put spread, man. You're looking at over $3,000 in profit in a day on those two trades. Now it's up $675. Awesome stuff going on here. All you need to do, folks, is head to go.topgunoptions.com/solo. Go.topgunoptions.com/solo, and you can get airborne into our least expensive live trading service and see what we do here at Top Gun Options. Make sure you get the annual because it's a nice discount there. Amazon could be the only stock you need to own for the rest of your life. There's pluses and minuses with that. Really kicking myself I didn't get filled on the base position yesterday because that would be printing money. But guess what? Amazon is back up to where we got into our initial base position in this new service. We got into it at 1920. Look at that. Right here, we got into Amazon. Oh my God, the world's ending. It's so bleak. We're back up here, and we're going to be at $3,000 in about a year and a half. It's a $3,000 stock easily by the time that trade expires that I wanted to get filled on yesterday, and that's going to be a minimum of a six-figure profit. Don't believe me? Come check it out. Men lie, numbers don't. Come check out the numbers. Go.topgunoptions.com/solo. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see many of you at 1 o'clock for the primary live trade brief. God bless. We'll see.